Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim.
And this is also Jim.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. So I'm just doing it myself.
I could also be Danny if you want me to be.
I might be easier. Yeah.
Okay. This is Danny.
Excellent. I don't know where to go from here.
You're welcome.
Another good movie we're going to be talking about this week. What else is going on? You look stunned.
Well, let me check my paperwork here.
I was going to...
Hold on. Let me check the papers.
Well, why are you crumpling it up? You just threw away all the news. Oh, my God.
That is old news.
Oh, okay.
Here's the new news.
Bring it.
I saw a puppy today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver.
Yeah. A little tiny 2.8-pound Yorkie. He was so cute.
He was. Husker was not a fan.
No, he was not a fan.
Not in the least.
I mean, I'm trying to think of trades news, and there really isn't a whole lot.
Well, I mean, there is. I just haven't bothered.
Yeah.
With it because it's hard to get excited about anything Hollywood these days, and news about like indie film and stuff isn't plentiful.
Right.
Or easy to come by.
This is true.
Well, we could talk about Last of Us season 2, episode 3.
Oh man.
Well, episode 2, because in between last time and this time we've seen both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So neither one of us had played the game far enough to know that Joel died.
Well, yeah, we played the spoilers. We played the first game all the way through. We did not play the second game all the way through.
Right. Well, barely.
As discussed.
Yeah, barely to the beginning. Because episode 2.
Yeah.
Chunk.
I mean, right away, I read a thing where they were like, we don't want people to be waiting around for it, for a long, long time.
I guess I will say this. Why is this thing not? Every time it's something with this nonsense. Okay. Well, the thing's not auto panning, so.
Oh,
now I hit my microphone.
This is going swimmingly.
I know. We should just pack it in and do a rerun.
Yeah.
I do want to address one thing that has been a lot on social media and in articles. Articles mostly by people who aren't real writers. And I say that because I take issue with everybody in a fucking keyboard thinks they're a fucking journalist. And we've talked about it, people doing reviews and stuff and this and that. And they got channels. I don't know how the fuck or why anyone watches their idiot bullshit, but they just have no skill.
Right.
Right. And all of these morons are blasting Bella Ramsey.
For what?
For not being able to carry the series. Yeah. They're like, this is the first episode 3, the first episode without Joel. And, it's been, she's proven she can't carry the series. Okay, let's go back a minute. Let's go back to episode 1. Not a lot of Joel.
No.
Mostly, Ellie, Bella. Episode 2, mostly Bella. A little bit of Joel in the front. And then Joel has to show up to get killed. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I love Pedro Pascal. I'm going to miss his presence just because I just like seeing him on screen. It'd be like watching The Mandalorian and then Grogu taking over. And even though you don't see it's, Pedro under the helmet, you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
I love Pedro Pascal. I would happily accept the honor of being president of the Pedro Pascal fan club.
Sure, I'd support you.
Yeah.
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 But I just get really angry at these people. It's one episode. In the episode, she's recovering,
Grieving.
right? And there's other things going on. There's more set up. In the next 2 episodes will probably be even more set up. And then for the rest of the series or the rest of the season, everything will unfold and fall into place. That's kind of the basic fucking formula,
Yeah.
right? For something like, let's take these off. I think it's very unfair. This is a young woman who at a very young age held the fucking screen with powerhouse actors. And I mean like more than a dozen of them. She stole the fucking scenes in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't comical. It wasn't whimsical. It wasn't farcical. When she stood up as the fucking leader of the Mormonts and spoke, it was real. You know, this little kid in real life on the show is basically taking every adult in the room over her knee and just whooping their ass verbally.
Well, and here's the thing about Last of Us. Even the first one, it's always been Ellie's story.
Yes. And
when you're the cure,
yeah,
you're the protagonist by default.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is she carried very well. I mean, you know, Pedro could do all kinds of good work, but it was even better than good work.
Yeah.
Because he had her throughout the thing to bounce off of.
And I love their friendship. I see clips of them all the time.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there's a whole article on how he acts very differently with her than he does like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, I just, you know, anyone who's listening and you one of these people who wrote these dumbass articles, reconsider, you know, learn a little something about it doesn't have to be like an action presence. She doesn't need to be like taking over the fucking town. She doesn't need to be, you know, the Queen Mormont, right?
Yeah.
You know, she's Ellie, who is going through some shit, right?
Yeah.
And this particular episode wasn't it. I mean, it's a lull. They had some big things happen. Mm-hmm. Town was attacked. They lost Joel. She's got to deal with Joel. Got to deal with her guilt about her and Joel's relationship towards the end. And just lots of stuff, you know. It's a slow bit. How do you powerhouse prove you can carry an episode? You know, that's just such horse shit.
Have you seen her? She's buff as fuck for this series.
As much as she can. I did read an interview. She's a bit disappointed that she can only go so far.
Yeah.
And I get it. Because, you know, in high school, I did bodybuilding. And it just like stopped. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, I'm doing the weights. I'm doing things. Things have stopped happening. And some people just can't get to that point. Which to me is neither here nor there. But I don't know. She is a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And has depth in her performance, which is what makes this character enjoyable and real, you know, on the screen. But anyway, so that's all that I have on shit that's going on in the marketplace. Not even 1 week. So this coming Saturday, we will be doing our recording with the Pondo Boys on their podcast.
Yeah.
Not sure when that will be released.
No.
But we'll find out when it happens.
And we'll let you know.
Yeah. We'll get all that. Almost into May. Mm-hmm. And Primal Rage.
Coming up soon.
Yeah.
I know. They David put out some like retro looking posters for it.
Yes.
That the art team did.
Oh, I know. And we have been talking about getting him on. And David, if you're listening, we really want to get you on the show again. But we have been beset upon by all manner of fuckery.
Yeah.
That's taking up time. It's like
it's taking up, like physical and emotional space.
Yes.
In our lives.
Good call.
Yeah.
um, it, it is what it is. And I was hoping we'd get him on recorded and out before the, official release. It'll be after at some point.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm still having some tech issues with some shit, and that sort of kind of chaps my ass a little bit.
Yeah.
I was working on it again tonight, and I'm like halfway there. I can get the output, I just can't get the input, which is, the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like my arch that I built.
Oh yeah, the garden arch.
So some of you may or may not remember that my goal this year with my little garden is to make a green bean arch, a la Joe Pera, and I built the arch, and it is stupendously ugly.
We just need to get different material, and it will be fine, and the right size material.
Yeah.
We have to measure the whole thing up, over, and down to get it right. But I mean, sometimes that happens.
It looks very DIY because it is very DIY.
We will have an arch of beans. It will happen.
I hope so.
It will. It will. How about you tell us about the movie we're going to be talking about here on this talking show?
I'd be delighted to.
Do you need to rustle your papers?
Yeah, let me rustle my papers a little bit, get this all set.
Get your notes.
This is going to be horrendous to edit. Okay, I need to get them in order. Are you ready?
I would not even know what I could possibly be seeing if I were watching a newscast and they were making those sounds with paper doing what you were doing. Oh man, they're I'm sorry. Are we ready?
I've been waiting. I've got my papers right in front of me. Can you hear them? The movie is Come As You Are. It was made in 2019.
Stop. Put those down.
No.
Okay, I'm banning papers from now on. I'm gonna. Oh my god.
Yeah, now you have a paper.
I threw it away. All right. How about? Oh my god. We're just burning up time.
It was directed by Richard Wong. Written by Pierre Leclerc, Eric Linthorst. Starring Grant Rosenmeyer, Hayden Seto, Ravi Patel, and I'm going to butcher this last one, Gabourey Sidibe.
I couldn't say it.
She played Sam.
Right.
It was not rated. Here is, are you okay over there?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm good.
Okay. Here's the log line. 3 young men with disabilities hit the road with a jaded nurse to a brothel in Montreal catering to people with special needs.
I mean, that sums it up.
I mean, it's kind of boring. There were other ones that were a little more, like juicy.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like those either. I don't know why.
I mean, the log line is supposed to be in its most simplistic form anyway. So,
yeah.
It
I like ones like this.
It hit the things.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, boom. You know what you're going to watch.
It is a remake of the Belgian film Hasta la Vista.
Yeah.
Which is a funny title for a Belgian film.
Couldn't say anything to that.
Yeah. Well, now that I've done all that. I'm done with my papers.
Are you?
Uh-huh.
Excellent. So, before I begin, it's worth noting that this is based on a true story, and by that, a an individual made this kind of trip,
Yes.
right? I will talk about that when we're talking about the film. So this wasn't just made up, as a concept. It was inspired by.
Yeah, inspired by the life of Asta Philpott.
Yes.
Who appeared in this movie.
Yes. Okay. Are we ready?
I'm waiting.
Bam! We open on a beach near sunset. There's a woman in a bikini walking out of the water, and then there's a guy sitting on the beach staring. She comes up to him, goes in for a kiss, and we see that she's got a star tattoo behind her ear. Then the guy wakes up. He's in bed. He looks a little off, nearly got a kiss out of there. There's a knock at the door, and it's his mom. She comes in. He's laying in bed, clearly with a boner.
Yes.
Under the blankets. She pulls the blankets back, and then just without missing a beat, rolls him on his side. So clearly he's disabled and unable to do these functions. And then we see him in the bath, and she's washing him. Then we're outside, and he's getting into their van.
She's chatting the whole time.
She's just chip, 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 chip. Yep. And the mom is Janine Garofalo, who I have loved seeing her since the first time she popped up on a screen.
Oh, yeah.
So many years ago. Anyway, then we cut to a blind man who is at a bus stop. He gets on a bus, takes a seat, and then we see him kind of like turn his head a little bit, and he tells someone that they have lovely hair. And then this deep voice answers back, "Thank you," or "Thanks, man." And then, it cuts to this dude with long hair. So this gentleman's not completely blind.
Right.
Right. But very
Yeah.
much so. Not able to clearly see anything. And then we see the blind guy at work, and he is talking about how the wheelchair guy, who we saw in the beginning, led him into a ladies' room at the movies as the guy's coming in. And then we see a new guy, who we learn his name is Matt, who is also in a wheelchair, comes in. And he and the first wheelchair guy have a little standoff because they're at the rehab clinic. And the first guy is jealous that Matt has the sexy therapist. And the reason he has the sexy therapist is because the blind fellow
did some revenge scheduling. Yeah. And that therapist is the girl he was dreaming about.
Yes. I think it was it
Becky?
Becky. Yeah. And so we learned that the first guy that we've met is Scotty. And later outside, Scotty's telling the blind guy that they're even.
Yeah.
He's not mad about it. He's like, we're even. And then Scotty sees Matt. He goes over to him and says, there's a pecking order here. And he gets Becky, and Matt gets the hairy Spaniard from now on. And all of them are sitting watching wheelchair baseball. Scotty talks to one of the players at the end, who gives him a card for Le Chateau Paradis, a brothel. So he looks it up online later, finds a video showing a dude in a wheelchair talking about having had problems finding sexual encounters. And so he opened his own brothel for people like him. And Scotty's on board.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, come as you are. That's the
tagline.
Yeah, that's the tagline. So we have another day. Scotty is coming out of therapy with Becky. So, good for him. He sees Matt, invites him to have a drink. Matt's like, my mom's here. He's like, yeah, so's mine.
Yeah.
So they made their moms drive them to the bar. They're sitting at a table. Their moms are sitting up at the bar talking. And Scotty tells Matt he was born with a congenital defect, and that's why he's in a wheelchair. Scotty says, besides his mouth, the only other thing that works on his body is his junk. During this, Matt is giving him sips of beer because Scotty can't use his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. As they're talking, Scotty tells Matt about the brothel in Canada and that he and the blind guy need a third to split the cost.
Right.
He's planned on a nurse van to drive them. Matt is out.
Yep.
He says he has a girlfriend, and Matt leaves. A little later, we see him rolling through a library, Matt. He rolls up to a woman sitting at a table with a guy named Bobby. It's really awkward.
Well, they're clearly very cozy with each other.
They're flirting.
Yeah.
Yeah. The woman says they were just studying. Matt doesn't believe it. And then she starts with I have to start thinking about my future. So we know where this is going to go.
Yeah.
So then we're at home with Matt, and he's looking up the brothel.
Yep.
At dinner, he asks his parents what they think about him going on a road trip around the Great Lakes. Dad says it's not a great time with everything going on. Matt comes back with, that's why, because all he's doing is going to the doctors and then going to therapy.
Right.
Right. Dad says no. Later, Matt's in the garage and he's wrapping his hands boxer style.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to a speed bag that's just way too high for him. He gives it a shot, but so you get the hint that his disability is pretty new.
Right.
Right.
He wasn't born this way.
Right. But it's very recent because,
yeah,
you would have had them drop it down or something, or, tries a few hits, gets up in frustration. And then we cut to Scotty, who is rapping to himself in his room. And I love it. His mom comes in to tell him he has company, scares the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Right. It's Matt. And Matt says he's been thinking about the offer, but his parents said no. If they do this, because their moms now talk, it needs to be black ops.
Right.
Right. But it has to be soon. Finds out Scotty hasn't even asked Mo, who is the blind guy,
right,
to go along. Scotty says he can convince him. Then we cut to Mo saying no. He and Scotty are arguing about paying hookers versus making donations, legalities and stuff. Mo is pretty tightly wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. Scotty leaves, swearing and insulting him.
Yeah, Scotty's pretty hot.
He's always hot, man. He is quick with the shit. I love it. Then Matt starts to talk to Mo. Says he's proposing a trip away from town, away from the clinics, away from the parents. He just needs to get out. Mo says he could use a field trip. Mo tells Matt to promise he won't do anything illegal.
Right.
Right. And then we cut to Matt's room. It's full of medals and trophies. Didn't get a clear, mostly the medals. There was a quick shot where you could see like a trophy. Not super sure what they said on the medals, because it's just in the background enough to identify, but no fine detail. His little sister comes in. She says she doesn't want to fight with him anymore.
They were kind of arguing at the dinner earlier.
Yeah, I guess, so then Matt tells her his secret on what he's planning on doing. And this is awesome. So then we see her, and what do you think? 11?
Yeah.
12?
I think
maybe?
11 or 12.
Certainly not, 13. Not there yet. So she's out with his list of items that has like deodorant and stuff on it, and at the bottom of it is condoms. I just love that he did that. So Mo and Scotty are sorting out clothes, and it's just there's so much. This is another one. Like Biosphere, there's so much going on, like
Yes.
conversation wise
Yeah.
and the interaction wise. Again, it would take way too much to do it all. But what my favorite part of that is, Mo holds up a shirt, and Scotty says, "It looks like I'm going to Jamaica."
I know.
Mo, I can't read your shirts.
Fair.
So then we cut to mom. Scotty's mom is feeding him, and they're watching The Bachelor, and she keeps dropping the food
Yeah.
from his mouth onto him because she's not paying attention. She's watching The Bachelor. She's going on about what's going on there. Scotty heads off to his room, angry. Mom comes up and says, from outside the door, "You can't sleep in your chair." Then he uses Siri to set an alarm for 5 a.m. Using voice activation, turns off his lights and sleeps in his chair.
Yeah.
5 a.m. and his alarm goes off. It begins.
So, yeah, he tries to stop the alarm because it's very loud. He doesn't want his mom to wake up. This is a secret trip. And his phone falls on the floor when he can't get it back up off the floor because he can't reach it. It is in a little like bag, his phone.
Yeah.
So we cut to Matt, whose little sister packed for him a hot pink little suitcase with like flowers on it.
Yes.
And Matt's like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, so you think of me." And then we see Mo and Matt at the van pickup, and they realize that the driver that Scotty hired, Sam, is a woman. And Mo is very distraught about this. He's like, "I can't do this trip with a woman driving." He's very, very concerned about the whole situation.
Yes.
On top of that, Scotty isn't there.
Right. It's not starting out swimmingly.
It's not a great start. So they decide to stop and get Scotty, who didn't make it. And so they do that. And the whole, Scotty's just coming out, just in the nick of time as they get up to his house, right?
Mm-hmm.
He managed to loop his phone onto his wheel. The bag
snagged it with his wheel. And went from inside the house, well, from his room through the house to the outside backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So he could drag his bag to have someone pick it up.
Yep. And the whole loading the van and them talking over each other basically the whole time is a pretty fun mess.
Yes.
The driver, Sam, seems pretty unaffected about their antics. And then we cut to Scotty's mom, who can't find him in the morning. And they're getting calls on their cell phones in the van as they're going down the road.
Yes.
And Scotty goes, "Throw the phones so that you can't be tracked." So he and Matt throw their phones out the window because they're real serious about not having their parents come find them. They want to do this.
Yes.
Mo does not want to throw his phone out.
No.
So he throws out a SIM card. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, that would have been a smarter idea."
That's a way better idea.
At this point, Sam, who's been, hearing all this, stops the car and is like, "What is going on?" She's not into the secrecy. She wants them to be honest with each other. And Mo talks to her. He's the one who's able to kind of settle her down because she gets a little hot.
Yeah. Thanks to Scotty.
Right. Because, Scotty's not super helpful in that arena. And Mo kind of explains they've never been on a trip without their parents. And she reluctantly continues on. Because she did turn around.
Yeah. Well, and Mo also offered to make up for the stress of the departure that morning. They could give her a little extra money.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we see Scotty's mom calling Matt's parents, and she says she knows where they're staying. So back in the van, they stop for gas. Scotty tells Mo, who's going inside to grab him a nudie mag.
Very specific instructions.
Yeah.
Top rack, wrapped in plastic. Grab anything.
Right. And Mo, it's a very cute scene, him grabbing one of them. What he ends up coming out with is a bridal magazine. And Scotty's like, "You idiot," blah, 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 you know. But then he's like, "Actually, no, this is fine."
Never mind. I'll make it work.
So they stop at a little motel for the night. The boys get dinner in a little diner. Scotty gives a toast to their boners loudly in the restaurant.
Yep.
And then they're back in the hotel room, and Sam is working on beginning to like dress Scotty for bed, because she is their driver and also a CNA or nurse.
She's a nurse.
Yes, she's a nurse. But she says that she's dizzy, and then very shortly after that, she just passes out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And all the boys are just wigging out. They call an ambulance. They find out that she is diabetic and had a hypoglycemic event. So she's going to be in the hospital overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have to make do without her for the evening. But they realize after she left that she had the room keys. So Matt goes to the receptionist to get room keys. And while he's doing that, Scotty's saying he's going to order some porn.
Yeah. The unlimited bundle or something.
Mo tells him he's going to take the remote and beat his dick with it. Back out at reception with Matt, the receptionist tells them that they, would have gotten a confirmation email that morning.
Yes.
And Matt's like, initially he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then he's like, wait. So that means their parents are on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Matt gets back to the room and they figure this whole thing out that, Scotty's mom surely saw this email that came in and
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. So they need to leave the motel before their parents get there and take them back home. So their only vehicle is the van,
mm-hmm.
which they put Mo in the driver's seat with Matt helping him as his eyes.
Yes.
And it takes them a while to figure this out. And while they're figuring it out, the parents have arrived.
Yes.
It's a disaster. So the parents haven't seen them.
No.
The parents go straight to reception. They're waiting to talk to that receptionist. And we see in the background the van slowly wobbling off in the distance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love how they went to go see the clerk or the receptionist,
mm-hmm.
right? And they're waiting as this dude is on the phone with someone having this weird ass conversation about haunted bed making sex sounds.
Yeah.
It's like, when can you get down here? Because they're saying they're not even having sex, but it sounds like it. Anyway, I just thought that was an awesome stall.
Yeah. So the parents go into the room. The receptionist shows them in there because, they've explained the situation and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's already familiar with that room because they, had the ambulance come and everything. So the parents find the empty room with the porn playing loudly.
Yes. Oh, they must have ordered the unlimited package.
And they pretty quickly realize like all the clothes are gone, the luggage are gone, the boys have left, probably anticipating them getting there. So the boys driving end up in the ditch on the highway.
They get pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes well for a little bit.
Ish.
I mean, he blows through an intersection. Everything's okay. But when they get out on the highway, Matt is like, just kind of hold it steady. But as we all know, even with the best of cars, that doesn't always work.
Right.
You drift. That was a little bit more than a little drift.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't drive as a blind person. You have to make all these micro adjustments as you drive.
So they went off into the median,
mm-hmm.
and that was it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mo's like, I am not doing this anymore. So they get out there walking and rolling on the highway when a police officer stops and asks them, what happened. It's kind of a fun exchange.
That's what I wrote exactly. It's a funny exchange. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah. So suffice it to say, they meet back up with Sam the next morning, and she has a lot of questions.
Yes,
understandably. So she demands from them the truth before going anywhere at all. So Mo goes to talk to her. He very awkwardly explains what it is they're doing. And Sam, she responds, "Oh, you're going to get laid. Thank God. I thought you guys had a suicide pact or something."
Or that you were drug mules.
Right. And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm not your mom. I'm not your girlfriend. I don't care. I just need to know what's going on." But she does tell them that if they want her in the room, that's going to be extra.
Yes.
I don't know that had to be offered.
I mean, well, but she's
a nurse.
Well, that's why she's
doing
the van, because she can, do the things that need to be done. Remove from the chair, all that stuff. So, because I will admit at first, because this bit's in the trailer, and it didn't click to me then, and I thought that is a rather weird, if not somewhat forward, thing to say. But when it happened in watching the movie, it was like, oh, dumbass.
Yeah.
That's why she would be in the room. Duh. Because when she passed out, she was starting to get Scotty ready to get out of his chair and get ready for bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then later they're on the road and Matt outs Scotty's secret life as a rapper.
Yes.
And they give Scotty a lot of shit for it. And then later, while Matt and Scotty are both asleep in the back as they're driving, Mo confesses to Sam that he told his mom the truth before he left. Because Mo's a good boy.
Yeah.
So they have a little discussion. We learn that Sam was married. She caught her husband cheating, so she shot him in the ass with insulin.
Yeah, I caught him on top of her neighbor, so I shot him. I was like, really? Yeah, in the ass with insulin.
Yeah. But she had lost her nurse's license.
Over that, yes.
Over that. She just recently got it back.
Right.
So he does ask her if she can give him some sex tips because she's a nurse.
I love that.
She laughs, but she's like kind, She's like, just let things happen. Don't plan it. And they have a little bit of a flirt going on.
Yeah.
He feels she reaches over and he accidentally touches her arm, but he says, "Nice tattoo." He can feel the ink.
The raised skin from the ink. Yeah. Yeah. They're at a drive-through waiting. Yeah.
Which is true. You can feel tattoos.
Yeah.
If you feel them, the right way. And he can actually tell what's on it, like these different birds and, the vines and stuff that are on it by its feel.
Right. Well, that's where their whole thing gets into, is he's, identifying the bird and stuff. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So then they're in Chicago in a little music club, and there is a bachelorette party at a table nearby. So Matt just goes right in to chat with them right away. And so Mo and Scotty and Sam are sitting at the table. Mo tells Scotty that a girl at the clinic, Sarah, likes him. And we very briefly met her earlier on in the movie.
She was who Mo was talking to about the revenge scheduling.
Yeah, before Scotty came in.
Yeah.
And Scotty dials in at the same time that Mo is into Sam. and starts kind of encouraging him to, ask her to dance, do something. Matt comes back with the sad news that most of the bachelorette party have boyfriends.
Yeah.
And while I believe it is Scotty or Matt and Mo are going to the restroom or something, there are two assholes in the club who make comments to them about like being Special Olympics.
Oh, the Special Olympics are in town.
And then later, those same two boys are giving Sam some shit. Like they're talking about her weight and, just being assholes. So Mo comes to her rescue. And then she punches the dude.
Well, he tells the asshole to apologize. He says, or you'll be sorry. The guy's giving him shit. And then Mo fucking headbutts him rugby style.
Right.
Just no bullshit. Bam.
And then the guy's going to go after Mo.
Yeah.
And Sam punches him.
Yep.
And then he's like, gearing up for a fight when Scotty comes out of fucking nowhere.
In his power chair.
Just screaming and rolls him out of the bar.
Yep. And the crowd roars.
So meanwhile, we see that Matt's mom has been calling around all these van companies, and she finally has located the van company that they used. And we see that Sam has missed several calls from her dispatch.
Yeah.
So while all this is going on, Scotty is encouraging Mo to dance with Sam, and she leads him out to go dancing. And while they head off, Matt rolls back over to the last remaining girl in the bachelorette party.
Yeah.
And Scotty's just sitting at the table on his own. And he seems pretty upset by this. Like, he didn't want to be left alone.
Right.
So he orders a shot. And then we see Matt talking to that girl, the bachelorette party girl.
Yeah.
While the others are going to head to the hotel, and he says that he's going to stay behind with her. And then dispatch is calling Sam again. And then we see Matt getting pretty cozy with this bridal party girl when a train passes by, and it seems like the vibrations of the train kind of hurt him in some way.
I wasn't sure if that was the case or it was just coincidence.
Right.
Because she was really into him.
Yeah, she was about to kiss him.
Yeah, she was going in for the kiss, and then he just grabs his side like somebody stabbed him.
Yeah. And it's a little troubling. And earlier, I believe, when they were at a gas station, Sam eyed Matt in the back taking some pills.
Yes.
So then in the morning, the guys are gathering up all their stuff to leave the hotel. Scotty did not have a good night. He got all up in his head about everything.
Yeah.
So he's grumpy. And the elevator doors open, and the parents are right there. And it's immediately just a yell fest. Matt's parents try to wheel him away, and he, eventually says that they're going to a brothel, which stops them from pulling him through the doorway.
Right.
And then Scotty starts yelling at Matt, and then Matt starts yelling at Scotty.
And Mo.
And he just says some pretty mean things to them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through what he says.
Yeah, no.
But he tells his parents that he didn't tell them because he was ashamed. And Scotty's mom is trying to get him to go home, and he tells her to stop. He says, I need to do this.
Yeah. His thing was, I'm 24 years old. I need to know what sex is going to be like for me.
Yeah. And she's understanding. So the parents talk outside, and they kind of, Matt's dad isn't super on board, but they agree to let the boys do this.
Well, Matt's mom pulled out the scepter.
Yeah.
And was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
And we're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
He got all huffy, and she was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Oh yeah. So the boys get outside and Sam's there with the van and she's apologizing, because dispatch has been calling her nonstop. She's like, I didn't have a choice. And they kind of stop her mid apology and they're like, the trip is back on.
So, and she, I mean, she had a good reason. I suspect if there was nothing at stake, she would have just kind of blown it off, right? I got this gig, phone didn't work, blah, 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 blah. But she did explain to them that she was going to lose her license for good if she got another strike. She just got it back and, doesn't want to. So anyway, they load up. Then we're in Montreal. They're driving and then they pass where they would normally turn to go to where the brothel is. They're like, where are we going? And Sam says that the reservation was canceled. And their parents gave them an upgrade.
Yeah.
So then we see them in this
lovely resort,
palatial room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. This is, top end. This is White Lotus level shit.
Yeah.
Right. And the brothel is still on. But yeah, this hotel is just amazing. So they all go to dinner. The table is quiet. Matt apologizes to Mo for calling him a loser and all this other shit. Mo says, well, I shouldn't, thrown you under the bus and should have had your back. And, and then Scotty wants an apology too.
Yeah.
And, in the instant that it comes up, it's like, oh, Scotty, man, you're too angry and too young.
Yeah.
Right. But he was actually, I think, legit in this. Because he wants an apology because he was literally left alone at the table when they were in Chicago. Mo was up dancing with Sam. Matt went away. He has no way to take a drink of beer. I mean, the only thing he can do is, control just with the joystick. And I mean, that is kind of shitty because, Matt was clearly with the woman until they were ready to go. Who knows how long Sam and Mo were dancing.
Yeah.
I think that deserved an apology. Literally abandon him in front of him and right next to him. So, and because he was called an asshole in front of his mother during the big shouting match thing. So Matt leaves. Scotty is then told by Mo and Sam that Matt is dying, which is why he takes pills all the time. And I was like, you would know that if you weren't an asshole.
That's fair.
So outside, Scotty goes to Matt and apologizes. Scotty says he spends a lot of time feeling like he's left outside of stuff. But since they started hanging out, he's feeling included, which is a big thing. Matt thanks Scotty for the trip. Inside, Mo and Sam are playing chess, and I love it because at one point she's like, "Why are we even? You're just playing against yourself. Why am I?
Why am I even here?"
He's saying like, "No, you got to move your queen, bishops, and this and that, and then this will happen, this happen." And she's just like smiling and looking at him as he's doing his bit. And then she asks how he saw her tattoo. Mo explains that he taught himself way back when he was very little. Apparently there was a mural on the way to somewhere or on his school or something. And he wanted to know what it was. So he learned how to feel the lines and the strokes in things. And tattoos, because it's raised, is, it's like picture braille. It's, actually something tactile to trace. So, so she gives him her arm, and he finishes reading. And as he's Like, this is a bird, and she's explaining what bird it is and its relevance.
Yeah.
Which is, it's sweet. It is. It's very, very sweet. Next morning, breakfast. Scotty says he needs a favor. He needs Matt to shave his dick. Matt does. It's a little awkward.
Matt initially is like, absolutely not. No. As one would.
Yeah. Apparently there hadn't been a lot of attention paid to that form of grooming.
Understandable.
Matt had some comments.
I did wrote. He made a joke about never seeing anyone with pubic hair extensions.
I know. Oh. Okay. Then they're getting ready for the brothel visit. So they get there. Sam waits outside. Inside, one woman takes Matt away, another Mo, and another Scotty. After a bit, Mo leaves. Scotty chases after him. Mo says the place just isn't real. For him, he just can't. This isn't.
Yeah, and no judgment on Scotty or Matt.
Yeah, he's just like, for me, I want my first time to be with someone special to me.
Yeah.
Bam.
Well, and Scotty is like, well, yeah, me too, but I don't have much of a choice. But he does tell Mo, go get her.
Yeah. It's very evident to the both of them.
Oh yeah.
That there's some stuff flowing there. So Scotty sees Matt and his escort head to her room. Then he and his escort head out. Outside, this is funny. Mo is he makes his way to a bench, sits down, and he's talking to himself. He's practicing what he wants to say to Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Pull out. Sam's sitting next to him, just smiling.
It's very cute.
And then she like slides over to him. He's like, "Wah." And actually, they end up making out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mo is. I mean, all three of these guys. I mean, Scotty's got some anger issues, which it comes up. That we'll talk about things that were addressed, and I feel he's justified.
Yeah.
Right, but he could use with some tone down.
He could, yeah.
Some breathing exercises and. Not
some
let
anger
that,
management.
Yeah, not let that be his foundation for life.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that rap as an outlet is fully doing it.
Not really. No. So in the rooms, things begin to progress. Scotty wants his escort to tell him anything about herself.
Yeah.
Because he's realizing this is really superficial, And then we cut to Matt's room, and his escort says her brother is in a wheelchair. So she understands.
Kind of a weird thing to say to someone.
Weird thing to say. And I will just say at this point, I would have thought that if it was a brothel meant for people with disabilities,
mm-hmm.
you wouldn't hire escorts who were so fucking dumb about the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a relative die of cancer, so I understand.
Yeah.
I don't think. Because, it wasn't a sibling, wasn't a child, wasn't, it was, not minimizing, but, a cousin who I had, not been around for a long time. But anyway, I don't know. It just struck me as, Jesus, morons. Anyway, we cut to Scotty and Matt coming out later through the hallway. and they look very contented.
Yeah.
Not like, but
We did the thing.
finally.
Yeah.
Right?
And they see Mo and Sam, who are now holding hands.
Mm-hmm.
So later they're toasting to the new couple.
Yes.
And they're in their luxurious hotel room, suite, as it were, villa. And Sam says, forget any disabilities or things that might hold you back. What would you want to do with your lives? And Matt says before his surgery, he was a boxer. And he was doing good.
Really wanted to turn pro, yeah.
Yeah. But as long as he gets to retire by the beach, he's good. And Mo says that when he has kids, he wants to coach them in baseball.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cute because when he says, when I have kids, Sam is right next to him. They're like cuddling on the couch and she's just like glowing.
Yeah. Well, he always ever only just wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
And that was kind of an addendum. But I do want to coach my kids in baseball.
Yeah. Scotty tells them to skip him. And Sam says she always wanted to be an artist. And it wasn't realistic, so she went to nursing school. But she's right where she wants to be because she loves feeling needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then later we hear Sam and Mo going at it in their room.
Yeah, Matt and Scotty are downstairs just kind of...
So Matt asks Scotty if he feels different. And they both agree that they don't. They thought it was going to be more of a big shift for them.
Right.
And Scotty says that it made him feel empty. It made him want more.
Yeah, he thought there would be more, that it wouldn't just end so abruptly. And I get it.
Yeah. And Matt makes Scotty promise to find a stage, grab a mic, and wreck it.
Yeah.
And Scotty says no. And Matt says, this is great. He's like, it's not like they're going to boo you. You're in a chair.
Yeah. Playing it hard.
So Scotty says as long as Matt's on stage with him, and Matt says deal.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see Scotty sitting alone in the villa. It seems like he maybe slept in his chair again.
Yeah, just fell asleep there.
Yeah. And he calls out for Matt, and Matt's not in the villa. So Scotty goes outside, and they're on the beach. And he sees Matt sitting on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt is not responding to Scotty calling out to him.
Right.
And Scotty starts panicking. He gets his wheel stuck in the stand. He's screaming for Matt. And then we're at Matt's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
His sister is talking about how much she misses him. There's a couple words, and then the
officiant.
Yeah. Asks if anyone else has anything they'd like to say. And Scotty, Mo, and Sam go up to say some words for Matt. Sam gives a CD to the officiant to put in. And Scotty says that he's doing this because he made a promise to Matt, and then the music starts.
He didn't want him to come back and haunt his ass.
Yeah. And he had to do it with Matt up there with him.
Yep.
And I'm not a fan of rap, but the words were very, heartfelt and sweet.
It was basically about Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about their trip together. It was a little irreverent, a little weird at times, but it was a sweet tribute for Matt.
There was a point where the officiant was going to go shut shit off.
Yeah.
And Matt's dad was like,
yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-mm. He ends the rap telling Mo to drop the mic because it's gangster. Because Mo's holding the mic up to him.
Drop it. No, to the little bit to the just drop it. Just let it go. Let Oh, Mo.
Yeah. So then we see Scotty in the therapy center, and Sarah's there. She's telling him she's sorry to hear about Matt. And Mo is behind her as Scotty and Sarah are talking. And Mo's like, come on, keep
signal
going.
And push it. Come on.
Yeah. And Scotty invites her to a rap show, and she says that she has a thing that day. And Scotty seems kind of, bummed.
Yeah.
And she's like, but what about Saturday? We could have dinner, like a date.
Boom.
Yeah.
There are a number of things I want to talk about with this movie.
Well, let's get into it.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the writing.
Oh, yeah.
Like we said, with Biosphere, there's so much, because it's just fucking talking, that we couldn't hit it all.
Right.
But it was so good, so natural. And that's how this is.
The dialogue is so well done.
Yes. There are movies that we've seen where that kind of interpersonal, really like tight dialogue misses. And I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that like ruined it, but it was very obvious that the lines were acted, because it was like, the writer put it in, the director agreed, it's got to be there. And it just didn't, it's like it was put there because you're paying some people to say words. And you have them say the words.
I mean, the trouble is especially in indie film, a lot of writers will use dialogue as exposition.
Yes.
Because there is a certain, lack of experience in indie film as far as like how to write something, and how to write dialogue that feels natural.
Well, the number one thing about script writing, period, is show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Right. But that, like every other golden fucking rule, about how to write this, other than, and I'm going to say, don't skip over this, the 3 tenets of storytelling, right? Stories have a structure.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always obvious. If they're done well, they're clearly not obvious.
Right.
Right. There are so many movies I've watched where I don't know when we've transitioned from act 1, act 2, act 3, right? Mm-hmm. But then there are ones that are like, oh, this must be act 2.
Yeah. Okay, we're jumping into act 2 now.
Yeah. And so on. The conversation between these guys is very real. It feels very sincere. But more than anything, the writing deserves credit because it does touch on some very real things. Like Scotty has a meltdown talking about, it's like that you can't even like go take a shit on your own. You can't wipe your own ass. It's like to not be able to do, basically he can't fucking do anything.
Yeah. He needs help doing everything.
Yeah. He's got one of those wands, right? That he uses to, hunt and peck on the keyboard.
Right. That he holds in his mouth.
Yeah. And then he's got just enough to, with the hand to move the joystick.
Right.
And just a couple inches. That's it. His whole thing about that wasn't preachy. It was perfect for the setting. The writing set this whole thing up where it was 100% natural, where we led to it. And just all of it was like I said, just very sincere.
It was. And I also think, to their credit, while they didn't use disabled actors for the roles, they did do a good job of showing, like, I mean, I guess I don't speak from experience, but I think they did a pretty good job of showing, some of the real difficulties that come with, those conditions.
Mm-hmm. There's so much.
There is.
Swimming around, I'll just say that for the writing, it was top notch and gave these guys so much to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And it came from a place, know your source, right? I guess that's it. We've always talked about write what you know about. And if there's something you want to write about and you're not familiar with it, do what we do what everybody does. Do the fucking research.
Yeah.
Right? Spend months, not days. Right? Dig into it, understand the nuances of what it is. Then write about it, because then you're qualified. You're writing about what you know.
Yeah.
Right? So that's either knowledge or experience or whatever. I guess that would be my big thing on the writing. What do you got?
Okay. So to kind of cap that off, there were several scenes in the film where everyone's talking over each other, and it's very much they do this a lot in Sunny. We've been watching a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Lily is hard on it.
Yeah. So she's been kind of catching up to where we left off.
Yeah.
With it. But they have a lot of scenes where they talk over each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that is so hard to do.
It is mechanically,
Mm-hmm.
right? So software, Final Draft, which I recommend. No, we don't get any money. We don't get any sponsorship from any of the shit we ever talk about. But Final Draft does have dual dialogue
Mm-hmm.
for that simple purpose. But I actually stuttered.
That's okay. But
I'm going to finish. Hold on.
Okay.
Don't take it away from me.
Okay.
I had a malfunction.
Finish.
Don't be demanding, because it puts me on the spot. See what happened? Anyway, it's very difficult to do on paper, mechanically, right? Now, when you're directing that, you have all these people who have to say all this shit, but it has to be well timed.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be, okay, all of you start shouting your lines, go. Because here's the thing, in Sunny, you hear what every fucking one of them is saying.
You do.
Even if it's at the same time. And in here, it was the same thing.
Yes.
You heard all the aspects of the argument or whatever it was going on, but you got that exhilaration of, everybody's hot.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that was really, really well done. And it speaks to the writing and the dialogue again.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't have anything to complain about in this movie. It was all done really well. The camera work and the sound were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Even not being a big fan of some of the music and the rap, like that's just a personal preference, but I don't think that it was inappropriate for the film.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, that was his thing. And I get it, because at one point we do see Scott's mother watching one of his rap videos, and his rap is very angsty.
Oh, yeah.
It usually is. But it was dealing with things that he was talking about. Like I said, can't go take a shit on your own. You're bound to this fucking chair and stuff. And she was really
emotional.
Let's talk about characters then. Let's get into that. I'll start with Janine Garofalo, Scotty's mom. She's magnificent. How could she not be?
I mean, she's Janine Garofalo.
I mean, absolutely. And no matter what I see her in, I don't see her in the SNL days. My favorite movie with her in it is The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Oh, okay.
I love that fucking movie. It is silly and simple, and with her and Uma Thurman, it is so tropish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's almost like we dare you to say it's not. But I always have fun watching it. One of those things. But anyway, her character is what I would expect most. And I don't want to be general, because I don't know everybody and everybody's situations and families and stuff. But having been around disabled people a lot, I know that folks who are wheelchair bound and can't do things for themselves, their parents, particularly their mothers, become very protective.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's, this is the way it's going to be. It's never going to get better. It's never going to be a pill. This is it. It's a congenital defect, right? You can't not be protective,
Yeah.
because everything about this child's life as they're growing up is on you. And just as parents with a non-disabled child, you all feel that.
Yeah.
Like up to a certain point, it's me or nothing for this kid.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But at some point they're gonna, toddle off and, deal with their own fuck ups and
Right.
stuff. Scotty's never gonna get that chance.
No.
And yeah, the way she played that, and then seeing that video and that look on her face, like, I don't want to say that the character didn't know this about her son.
But it's different when you're watching it.
Yeah. But she, like, well, you can't think about that stuff.
Well,
right?
and it shows that in the very beginning of the film when she is, helping him get ready in the morning. And she's just chattering on and on and on. And she's just so detached from what it is she's actually doing.
Yes.
And it shows her doing that, later when she's, trying to feed him and dropping the food,
Mm-hmm.
It's, this is mechanical, right?
Yes.
And he even does, like, he's in the bath and she's, scrubbing him and she's just prattling on and on. And he's like, could you not, while you're washing my balls, could you not talk? Or or something to that effect.
Yeah. But her, the turnaround point,
Mm-hmm.
right? The aha was very plain in her face. I mean, it's good acting.
It is.
It brought the reality of the moment, and it wasn't like a Disney moment where, oh, everything's better, and oh, I understand, and la da 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 da, all that bullshit. Her understanding came with pain.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really good. Now, in contrast, there's Matt's mom.
Right.
Right? Who they really played hard on. So Matt is Asian, his family is Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about dad forbidding it and stuff, they were really playing on traditional patriarchal ruling the house. These are the rules. This is our custom, kind of thing. Which I don't think it was the intention, but to me it kind of signaled, not every situation allows for you to live like that.
Yeah.
Matt's in a very different situation. Matt's got all this stuff going on. You need to just back the fuck off.
Yeah.
And tradition now means dick because, and then we find out he's dying.
Right.
Especially, right? Who gives a good goddamn? But mom signaled into that. And I just loved her complete, she wasn't as emotional, but she wasn't given a fucking inch. And that was super clear.
Oh, yeah.
Because dad had been just like stormtrooping through this whole thing. And she just shut that shit down.
That's right.
I love that phrase. Our four main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It speaks to all of their acting skills because you can have the best written stuff. We say this over and over, and there's a reason. You can have the best actors and give them the worst shit, and there's only so much they can do with it.
Yeah.
Right? This was, 5-star meeting where their skills and the material they were given, they just enhanced it. They just brought it,
mm-hmm.
And that's what made everything seem natural. The comedy is fucking hilarious.
It is. It's really good.
And
I mean, to be fair, this is a very ripe for the plucking subject matter for jokes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But I like how I think maybe 15%, maybe 20% of the comedy had to do with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The rest was just their interactions.
Oh, yeah.
And it before very long, it's like they've all been together for a very long time. It had that kind of, back and forth,
oh, yeah.
fast, not like waiting a minute and then, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
And some of the digs were just like yep, perfect.
Yeah, it was just really, really well done.
everything, yeah, all the other technical stuff. I mean, there wasn't like no lighting issues. It was a beautiful movie,
It was.
beautifully done technically. I think, and this is for any kind of creative portion of it, as an actor, as a director, as a writer, maybe even as a producer. I'm not going to say so much for like the stage folk, right, or the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this was, it wasn't that long ago where this kind of approach was like anathema,
Yeah.
right? You can't put handicapped people, disabled people out there and have them making fun of each other and make fun of them with situations they get into. That's just bad taste. And that's what they would say, but everyone was uncomfortable with it. Now, the driving scene did remind me of Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Sure.
And I had told you about this. So we have Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Pryor is blind, Wilder's deaf, and there's this whole big, I'm not going to get into the whole movie, but there's a scene where they're on the lam and Pryor's behind the wheel and Gene Wilder's giving him directions. But here's the thing. Richard Pryor can't see what the fuck is going on. Gene Wilder's giving it to him, but then he can't hear any feedback or questions or, you know, it was a little funny because of the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, super unlikely situation, but it was a comedy film. So they're going to have these blown out, everything is beyond belief.
Oh yeah.
Right. The fact that they're even in the situation. This, I did it so well. And I love that it was not uncomfortable. They didn't shy away. They didn't push towards. It was a nice even flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically three guys. Yes, they have physical circumstances, and that's what's leading them to this journey.
Right.
And the reality is you don't live your life with that kind of thing and never talk about it or bitch about it or joke about it or even jump on somebody else's ass about it.
Right.
Know? So it's just really nice. Watching this reminded me of Give Me Liberty.
Yes. It had that same sort of vibe to it.
Yeah. It was very intimate. It was not held back.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't slice of life because it's a road trip. But this has worked its way into that level of the palace. It is one of those, Space Trucker Bruce still holding the throne.
Best buddy movie ever.
Buddy movie. This is a road trip movie and we had so many things. It was, I don't want to say it was light because it really wasn't. It was just,
but it felt light and it felt fun.
Well, I want to say light in that it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like I was being pushed to appreciate or pushed to laugh. It wasn't like watching a sitcom with the fucking laugh track going wild.
Yeah.
Right?
You ever watch a movie and you feel the whole time where it's like, this movie really wants to make sure that I have gratitude for the things in my life that I can do.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that.
And I've always thought that's a disservice, right?
Yeah.
That's because we've talked about one of the things about Give Me Liberty was that they had actual disabled people in there. And it wasn't in a way that, hey, look, we appreciate that they're out there and look, we know. Or, hey, shouldn't you feel lucky about not having? What, to me, that is the worst kind of shit because that is so minimizing.
It is.
And dehumanizing to people with disabilities, saying, look at this poor fucker.
Yeah.
Don't you feel better now? I hate that shit. But this didn't come close to that. Give Me Liberty did not come close to that. So in a very short span, I've seen two movies that deal with people with disabilities as the main characters,
mm-hmm.
as the main premise of things going on, and just did it artfully, respectfully, and light.
Yeah.
I could enjoy them because I wasn't getting preached at.
Which sort of signals a wonderful shift in the world of filmmaking and like addressing topics like these.
Yes.
That is really nice. It's a trend in the right direction.
I hope it continues. I would love to see it actually flow into Hollywood and
Mm-hmm.
flow out into some major motion pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is why they're losing the battle.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for like industry news, so many fucking plans on remakes. Another fucking Harry Potter thing. Uh, I can't even remember what I just saw. I hate this shit so much it blocks out
I
after
get
I
it.
rage about it a bit in my head. Um, but they're doing more remakes and more recasts and restarting and rebooting. You know, Jesus, fuck me, Christ.
I have like zero interest in seeing any Marvel films going forward, to be
Oh, I'm
honest with
done.
you.
I'm done with Marvel. I mean, if we're up late and we're just like, let's just do a chill and don't want to really like, you know, get into something. Like this is not a chill movie.
Right.
You're gonna want to pay attention because there's a lot of little shit that goes on that is
Yeah.
just fucking fantastic. Um, you know, I'll put on a Marvel movie because I can just no brain that bitch.
Yeah.
I just, you know, it's like a toddler. I see colors moving on the screen, and that's all I want to do for a bit. And
Pretty much,
you
yeah.
know, wind down my day and go to bed. But yeah, there isn't much in the way of anything that's really good. A lot of shit's come out. People are raging. We've seen a couple things, and it's like, what in the ever loving fuck? It's Manchester by the Sea all over again.
It is, yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad this is happening, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, indie film. I'd like to see some B movies.
I did actually read something recently in the trades that the Oscars team are requiring them to actually watch all of the shows nominated before they can cast a vote, which it's crazy to me that that wasn't a requirement before,
Here's the thing.
but it is now.
It is now, and I can tell you why a little bit. Because of the timing of this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Talking Pondo with Cliff and Marty, and they were talking about Badass and Tootsie. So check it out, folks. It'll already have been out by the time you get this.
Mm-hmm.
So go back and listen. But Marty was talking about, he thought the movie was 1983, but it was actually 1982. Reason because it was released December 24th,
Sure.
1982, to qualify for the 1982 Oscars. Nobody fucking knew about it until well into 1983. So once we passed that New Year's mark, then it started building momentum. Then it started getting, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we could go on and on. There's just a lot of stuff. I don't want to give too much away. I mean, we completely spoil everything, folks. You should know that by now.
We do. Yeah.
You know, is there anything that we didn't touch on that was a standout?
I don't think so.
I was going to say this at the beginning, then got kind of going into it, and you just like threw me off so many times.
So I threw 5 pieces of paper at you.
Well, just everything. I'm perfectly aware that there are occasional pop sounds. I'm working on it. I apologize. But here's the thing. We can't hear them. I'm listening for them these last couple episodes. We can't hear them
In the recording.
as we're recording. So it's something that's not coming back through the audio output. It's just going into the input. And yeah, I'm working on it. I want to get rid of it. And it's not like an electrical interference thing because it's very random and it doesn't have the like I had before. And then I found the problem for that. So it's being worked on. I'm not going to stop doing this because, until it's fixed, we'll just suffer through it.
Well, if you like this podcast and you would like more of it,
Pops and all.
or you want to contact us, or you want to see other stuff we're working on, you should check out our website.
lordsofmisruleproductions.com. Everything's there. I'm not sure what platform you're listening to this on, but you can listen to it on the website. We have links to like the social media, YouTube, and all that stuff. We do have the Bravo for the B-Side YouTube channel, which is basically a videoized version of what you're listening to, with just a static picture.
A surprising amount of people like to listen to podcasts on YouTube.
Well, they do have the podcast piece, but we've been doing this before that ever lived. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we've got a podcast, we've got a host, we've got all that shit. But people like watching the video, listening to it.
Yeah.
It's weird, but you know what?
Sure.
I'm here for you folks.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Yeah, on any of the platforms, be helpful if you gave us, some ratings and some reviews. 5-star rating. I'm not going to complain. That would be awesome. Give some reviews. Please like. Please share.
Please follow.
Please follow. That would be fantastic. Patreon.
You have one of those?
Certainly could use your help. Go to our Bravo for the B-Side Patreon. Link is on the website. And become a B-sider, B-movie lover.
That's right.
$5 a month. Help keep this thing going. That would be very much appreciated. Right now, we're giving episodes a week early-ish. I put a notice out that because of all of the shit going on, it might not be exactly a week early. But I haven't not gotten it out early. The latest one was 3 days early because we barely were able to even get this portion of it done, the recording for the last episode.
Yeah.
It gets hard, but we're trying to stay true to it.
Yeah. Full disclosure, we've got a lot of family, troubles and health issues and et cetera kind of going on. And it is taking up, a lot of our brain space and time and et cetera.
All right. I think that sums it up for this episode. Unless you have any parting words.
Avocado.
Excellent. On multiple levels.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it.
Thank you.
All right, B-Siders, thank you for listening. And I look forward to speaking at you again in our next episode. So until then.
This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.